Okay. Woo! All right. Hopefully this is better. Hopefully. All right. Now, when I'm looking at this page is mirrored. So if it's not mirrored for y'all let me know, because I don't care if it's mirrored when I'm seeing my screen, as long as it's not mirrored for y'all. And I'm sorry y'all are seeing the mess on my desk. But this is the only way that I can do this, where I can actually see the screen. Okay. All right, good. So we're good to go. So I will put the link to this book, to the planner book. Ouch. To the planner book on in the description below. Once we're finished with this, I got it from Amazon. It wasn't all that expensive, but I really like supporting other like people. Babette just left her full-time career and went to doing her art creative. She's got the Etsy shop and other things. So hopefully I like, she's in this book, and that's why I talked about her. She does the Not Just Knots on Etsy. And y'all, I think she's a sweetheart. But anyway, so that's what, but she didn't write the book, but she is in the book. And so this is my journal. And the reason that I'm talking about covers, yeah, the reason I'm talking about covers is because, now granted, this was my first attempt at this. And it looks pretty, but like my stitching could be a little tighter. I love my red stitching, which is one of the reasons why I didn't really want the red stitching to not show, but I need to get better about it. And this, I'm afraid I'm going to have to glue these two pieces together right here and glue this piece to here so that it'll be a little bit more sturdy. Or I'm going to have to start using one piece of mixed media paper in the first and the last insert of my journal, which is why the journals that I got from Bree that are a mixture of Tomaway River paper and a mixture of mixed media paper hold up so well, is because they have a little bit more of a sturdiness to them. Tomaway River paper is really hard. See this big gap? See, my notebooks from Bree don't have that. This is a notebook from Bree. See that? There's no big gap. So there's one little gap, but that's because I pulled, like mine is do you see this chunky goodness? Then when I bought it, it didn't have that. Like it does have a tiny bit of gap in between each, in between each signature. See that little tiny bit of gap? Well, that's a lot bigger than that little tiny bit of a gap. See her tiny bit of a gap? See my big bit of a gap? So Tomaway River paper was really hard. But my sketchbook, y'all, that I put together, the sketchbook, which is watercolor paper and mixed media paper, and I actually put a hardcover over it, doesn't have that. Look at that. Here's a signature, and there's two signatures right there. This is a signature. It doesn't have that kind of gap. So I have a little bit of a gap in between the signatures, but I don't have a big gap. Like here's a signature right here. There's two signatures. See, there's not. I did really well with the sketchbook because it's such, I used watercolor paper and mixed media paper And this, I loved making this one. This one was so easy. Even if I hadn't put a hard cover on it, I Mod Podged a cover and I actually covered up the binding. I used the White Rabbit artist lady. She has for that part. And I used Sea Lemon's video that Bree told me about to actually do the stitching. And I used red thread. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because I may end up sending Bree my supplies. And just half of them and just making my sketchbooks and letting Bree make my notebooks. Because I can make a sketchbook, but we're going to see. I'm going to give it one more time with the notebooks. I'm going to try one more time. But it is flimsy. It is flimsy. It is flimsy. I did all right with it. I mean, but see this big gap? I may end up just glue binding, putting a whole cover over this thing and putting glue, pushing it to, and putting the bookbinding glue and covering up my spine for now, if it will help it be a little more sturdy. That's the first one. And then here's the other one I made. And this is Tomoe River paper as well, but instead of vellum, which is what I have in this, like how Bree does my journals for me, because when I was getting them from her, I wanted to, she mixed things up for me some. She's so sweet, y'all. But I did put vellum in this one, but I didn't do it in this one. I used, what is this? Rice paper. It is botanical. It has bits and pieces of leaves and flowers and stuff in it. Tomoe paper is not a good paper to journal on. No, Tomoe River paper is one of my favorite papers to journal on. That's what I'm journaling on in here. I'll show you, but making the journal myself. See this, it's not the book. This is loose right here. I need to redo my covers. Yeah, exactly. It's just hard to Copic. I don't even know if Copic stitch binding is not very friendly with Tomoe River paper. They're not buds. They're not buds. This is the 200-day journal challenge that Enthusiastically Dawn is doing. She has the video about it on YouTube, but on Instagram where she's putting up the prompts, her Instagram is The Journal Enthusiast. So I've been doing journaling. This is more written. I haven't I've been setting things up in journals and getting things ready. I did a little bit of watercolor on the rice paper. It's okay. It's not very fountain pen friendly, and it's okay to watercolor on, but it's not very easy to watercolor on. But I got to find my Joker card and make a copy of it to go there. I was watching The Pyramid Code on Netflix, and I watercolored the whole scene, and then I wrote over it, but I used Noodler's Lexington Gray. I use Schminke, Daniel Smith, and Holbein watercolors. I also have some of the Jane Davenport watercolors and some of the Winsor & Newton watercolors. A staple insert with it. Yeah, I want it to lay flat, which is why I like the Copic stitching. I don't want staples. Do not want staples. So I'm just going to have to figure out a better cover situation, unless, of course, Barry will agree to, I'll just send all my supplies to her. I'll just make my own sketchbooks, because her journals, I love her journals. I have this one right here. This is number 3. This one is mixed with Tomoe River paper, and see, this is Tomoe River paper right here, and then this is mixed media paper right here. So I have some pages of mixed media and some pages of Tomoe River paper. And then you get to, but this one is just mixed media paper. This was the first one I ordered. And then I'm so funny. I'm serious. You think I'm joking. I'll send you you'll just get a big box and you'll be going, what in the world? So I like art on the mixed media paper. I really like art on the mixed media paper. But I like journaling, like where I can do whatever I like. I do all kinds of things on Tomoe River paper. And the reason I like Tomoe River paper is because I end up with Chunky Monkey journals. Now, my chunkiest monkey, I have a picture of. I'm not going to go leave my desk to go get it because it is literally like it. The books start like, you know, and then I measured it to see how a folio would fit. And I think my journal was about a quarter of an inch away from being 3 inches thick. Thank you. So, you know, I've been practicing, you know, I've been doing all kinds of things, in my journals to improve. You know, I want to get to a place where that was for Shark Week. I had a shark riding on Snoopy's doghouse, y'all. That was my forest animal. But I want to continue, you know, and get better. That's another good book, Craft a Life You Love by Amy Tangerine. That is my pin case. It's an Art Snacks pin case. There's my tree I keep doing every season. But I do a lot of supplies because I find it really helpful to draw things that I can look at. The shoe page, that was fun. That was I did a prompt. These were prompts from, I think that was it World Watercolor Month? Yeah. Simple Things was the prompt for World Watercolor Month, and I chose shoes as the simple things. And that's my mom's shoes, my shoe, David's shoe, and Victor's little shoes. The veggie and yeah. I like doing stuff. I like, this was playing games, and I did Scrabble, flying things, and I did a bird. Delicious food. And I put everything in here but the onion. That I like stir-fry veggies, and my favorite thing to make, no joke, is real garlic, tomatoes, zucchini, and squash, and onion. And I love that. Like, I could eat that all by itself. I could eat that all by itself. I also like bell pepper and onion and garlic with tomatoes. I like all kinds of veggies, and I probably could go back in and do like a bell pepper and do like an onion, and because I love veggies. And that's one of my delicious food, and that's one of my favorites. This was Shades of Blue, and I put a bunch of different things that are blue together on the page. A blue crab, blueberries, these 2 different blue flowers. One was a hydrangea and one was something else, and I can't remember now. And then a little blue bird. And I just did a bunch of things that were blue. And this was family moments. And me and David were in the yard cleaning up after one of the storms that put a bunch of branches all over our backyard from the trees. And this was climbing mountains. And this is how I feel when I do laundry. It's a climbing the mountain of laundry is what I did. You know, not everything has to be serious. And then Light and Luminous, that's where I did the tree again. That was where I went outside and actually did the tree. And then when we started, it was light and luminous. It was sunny. It was pretty. And then clouds. I never did go in and do the roses. And I got busy doing everything else and didn't finish all the prompts. So, yeah. I'm still working on this. My giraffe, my poor giraffe. But this is Tomoe River paper. That's Bree's beautiful artwork. Every time my husband sees these in here, he's like, that's gorgeous. He's like, oh yeah, right. That's not your artwork. I'm like, no, that's not my artwork. He's like, but it is gorgeous. I'm like, I'll let Bree know you said that. That was when Coco died. And I followed a how-to with Romani. And I actually, this is a pencil. These are colored pencils that I used. And a couple of watercolor pencils that I used to do that. I wanted to do something a little bit different. This was the pool prompt, just, you know, a bunch of different things. But I don't add a lot of tip-ins, but I do add an occasional tip-in if it's something that's important and warrants a tip-in. I like adding pictures, though, and I like adding everyday ephemera, which is why I like adding real stuff to my pages. We're trying to get rid of tree stumps in our yard, which is why I like the Tomoe River paper. One of the reasons is that it allows you to be able to add stuff without it not getting completely chunky. Because I don't, like I said, I don't do a lot of tip-ins, but I do on occasion add a little bit of stuff to my pages. Real, like, you know, I got a new mouse and I put it over something that came with some Happy Mail from a while back. This was when those soccer kids were saved by the diver, and the diver one of the divers died. I wanted to document it. I moved my stuff in my craft room around, changed desk and tables around. I got some Happy Mail in from Odd Girl Journals. And I just, every now and again, like, I'll add a tip in, but I don't add a tip in very often. I went to the post office and mailed out Happy Mail. I went and got my oil changed. I still haven't went back and drawn and did the church, but I'm going to. You know, I just do all kinds of things. Like, I have fun sometimes. Sometimes it's not super serious. My buggy was all crooked because when I was trying to get the buggy out, they were like caught. And so they were like all slanted and I was having trouble getting it out. So I drew a cockeyed looking, like all wacky looking buggy. I dyed a wrap. I've got pictures to print for Victor's birthday, some more stuff to add. David liked this. I went live and I actually drew it. Started watching Castle Rock. I tried my hand at this Japanese way of using Chinese brushes, or maybe it was Chinese. I don't know. I attempted to do bamboo and this orchid, and it was a fun experience, but those brushes are weird. The brushes are really weird. They feel different. One was a wolf brush and one was a goat brush. And, oh, you know, so I do all different kinds of things. Like this came to me. I got little birthday cards, and there's, I put it in there. You know, this was when somebody called me queen for the week. I was birthday queen for the week. And so I drew myself as a birthday queen, you know, just fun. I decided to do gnomes and fairy stuff for August's theme. New watercolors, handmade. This was my Honey Slim Pickens. Yeah. And I love red, but red is wonderful as an accent color. I like my red desk and my red bookcase and my red laptop, but I don't want my walls red. You know, my walls are that like cobalt teal blue color or pale turquoise or like Sleeping Beauty turquoise or like I'm not exactly sure. But I like to do all different kinds of things. I've narrowed down my to-go bag as to something really small, like a water brush, 2 different kinds of pens, a pencil, a rag, my little tiny thing of watercolors, a glue stick, you know, everything. It will only fit in that one little bag, and I could throw that one little bag in my purse with my journal and go. Hey, Sherry. But you know, so like, this is practicing Stephen Reddy's stuff. I started watching The Curse of Oak Island, and they talk about the Templar Knights, and I was watching that, and I drew that. This was the Play-Doh day. But what I wanted to show, excuse me. So I've been doing different kinds of things in this. This is more or less, you know, that kind of thing. And then, and this one, I just started this one. And I've been hanging on to this from Goulet pens for a while because I thought it was beautiful. I really like that. So I put it in here. And then I did this. I have that little thing that sits on my desk that says this quote. And then I put August stuff from the other one in here from Astrology. And then, whoa, that's not good. That I'm not even going to try to pull that apart because it's going to mess up my journal. There we go. This is what happens when you watercolor sometimes. So this is this week's. Well, this was last week's. But I'm not putting that in here anymore. I just put it in there to begin. So this is where I documented making my own journals. Yeah, if you're not going to have fun, I'm not going to want to do it. I had a really nice conversation with a friend on Facebook Messenger, video to video, and I documented that. I documented the phone. When I first got the phone, the SIM thing, the little tray that the SIM card, that little thing that holds the thing the SIM card goes in, it didn't want to work right, so I had to get another one. Had an egg salad sandwich for lunch that Mr. Rockstar made for me. This was our picnic with the ants and the bowling pins and stuff. This was I did the sky and the moon and stuff. Cute gnomes, thanks. And I just wanted to practice doing, I tell you what, I guess I have to add water to this because I used this and I used my, what do you call it? This. Not a good combo. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe this is just to find a tip. Maybe I need the one that's not like that. Maybe I need a little bit of water. I don't know. This stuff is super thick and it doesn't want to write well. But I think with a paintbrush to use for my white instead of this little thing of gouache that I have, because this gouache by Karen d'Ache is crap. It came with my Karen d'Ache gouache set, but this is crap. But this with a paintbrush works really good. So for little white dots and little white highlights and stuff, I like this. Because I don't always want to use the Signo pen. And then this was something that I was watching a documentary and they had this stingray. And the way the stingray looked kind of, it almost, when it spread out and it was the water and the way that they had it, it could have almost looked like a butterfly. And the way that it looked, I was thinking it kind of looked like one of those Rorschach or whatever, you know, where it could look like any number of things. So the stingray to me at one point looked like a butterfly. You know, it just looked really cool. So I kind of had some fun doing some watercolor. That was Tuesday. I haven't written anything over it. And then this morning, I was, yeah, it does. It could look like a giant moth. It just was fun. I wanted to play. So I played and I had an image in my head. I didn't look at anything to draw it. I just drew. I've been trying to do things without looking at things sometimes, just to kind of have some fun, and whatever happens is whatever happens. I'm not trying to do anything, but I started watching, I've watched all of the Lake Placid movies, but I started watching Lake Placid Legacy because the guy, Tim Rosen, and then the girl that are in Winona Earp, that plays Officer Hot, she and Tim Rosen, the guy who plays, what's his name? I can't think of it now. They're both in there. How is the Scribbles That Matter working out? I showed that in the beginning. We'll go back to that in just a minute. So this was today's Lake Placid. And I didn't draw the watercolor. I mean, I didn't draw the alligator. I watercolored the alligator. I love Winona Earp too. I watch TV and I journal a lot. So I journal while I watch TV. So that's what I have right here. And I didn't realize y'all could see that whole mess over there. But that's my selfie that I can't get to work either. So nothing I have is working except my regular printer right now to print journal pictures. So that's where I'm at. This is today's. And I didn't draw, like I just drew it with watercolor, and I can go in with the pen and put in some details if I want, or I'm probably just going to journal over it. So I'm trying just to have a little bit of fun and to do some stuff that's out of my norm, you know, because this is sort of my norm. This is my norm, you know. That stuff. All this, you know, I've been practicing and changing things up, kind of, you know. This is I'm not finished with it, my take 5. I actually filmed. I'm not quite finished. This is my take 5 thing with the prompts. Yeah, I don't know that, you know, but I'm at least having fun. So I've been trying to kind of get out of my own comfort zone and try things that are definitely out of my comfort zone. This was that same picnic day. This is where Mr. Victor had such a blast playing with the Play-Doh, you know. So I like doing different things. I don't always want to do the same thing, you know. The same thing gets boring for me. I'm sorry, y'all. We cut grass on Monday. Let me put my coffee on my coffee warmer because it's gotten cold. So that's where I'm at. I had a fun time doing that. I will say that wet on wet is much easier on watercolor paper than on Tomoe River paper. I like wet on wet, practicing that kind of stuff on watercolor paper better. These were just some of my intentions for the new moon. I tried take 5, Sherry. I tried take 5. I don't know that it necessarily came out all that well. I've got to finish doing my hand lettering over this part. I'm not a collage person, but what's the point of doing something fun and trying and getting out of your comfort zone if you don't get out of your comfort zone? You know, I had fun with it, but it was quite different than, you know, it's not my norm. So how does everybody do their journals? I do all kinds of things. I journal around, I journal over. That's some journaling. See, I wrote around that one. I did that on watercolor paper and added it in. This was some pictures and some more pictures and a little piece of picture and drawing I did. And this was, I turned that into, I added a goatee to that. I did this and put it on top of there and added that piece of picture put this on top of the piece of picture. That was a journal card. This is Victor, and I have little letters that say Victor, and then that's him watercoloring. But like I wrote over this. I wrote over the bulk of that. It just depends on what I'm doing. Like sometimes I like writing over. Sometimes I like writing around. Sometimes I don't write much at all. I just have a quote. I didn't write anything except that up there. And this is writing. And I didn't do anything on that page. I just did the journaling over there. That was my bell pepper plant that was doing so well, and then the heat killed it. And this I didn't do any kind of journaling on either. That was the Doodle Wash Sunshine prompt. But like I did a little bit of, and I didn't do any journaling down there. I think it really just depends on what it is you're doing. You know, I journaled over this part of it, but not over the faces. And this I journaled over the whole thing, the little fish. I don't know. I like doing a bunch of different things. And I have realized that, I mean, for a long time I was struggling trying to figure out what my style was. And I have realized that my style is more illustrated. It's more like I capture the essence of it, but it doesn't look, thank you. It doesn't look picture perfect. And I quit trying, like if I were to criticize, this one is round and this one is square. They don't match. This one is round and this one is square. And when I was first doing it, I wasn't thinking about it because I was just drawing flip-flops. And I have flip-flops that are both like that look square and round, but I wasn't looking at a pair of flip-flops when I did this. And when I came back and I looked at it, I was like, okay, all right. You know, I'm like, And all I did was chuckle at it. It made me laugh. But a year or two ago, it would have frustrated me. OCD would have kicked in, and I would have been all crazy over the fact that they were different. You know, doing this bicycle, I had to redo the seat like 4 times because I could not get the seat right because I was trying too hard. And finally, I was like, the heck with it. I'm just going to put a seat on it, and then I left it alone. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail with my squash and stuff. But I went into more detail here. You know, I think it really just depends on what you're doing. We are definitely our own worst critics. That's my favorite ice cream. That's Rocky Road. And I've started trying to do more stuff where I do watercolor where I can add in details later, where maybe I just kind of draw a shape or I don't draw at all. I use the watercolor to draw, which is new to me too, because I always draw my stuff first, even if I draw with pen first. So I'm trying to change. I did the shape with the pencil, and I didn't even erase the pencil marks. I did the shape, and then I went in and did the watercolor, but I didn't do like every single bit of detail with the pen or the pencil first. I just went in and did the core shapes. That's thanks to Stephen Reddy. I just trying different things, and I didn't draw that really with a pencil, and I didn't draw that from anything. I remembered seeing it in a book that I had a bunch of pictures of from way back because I grew up near the water, and that was a picture of an old like a island off of the big island. But I do a lot of fun stuff. So I don't have to, I'm not trying to do super serious stuff all the time, you know. That was fun. That was more serious. I actually got in the details of the bag and the details of the little sketchbook. But I'm not trying to, if I want to take a pic, if I want it to be perfect, I'm just going to take a picture. You know. But if you don't draw, if you are one of those people who just looks to add color, I drew hearts with the watercolor brush and had a background of color and then put hearts on there and put a couple little stickers and journaled. You know, I mean, you can add art to your pages with pictures and ephemera and stickers and just some watercolor background. You don't have to draw or, you know, you can do whatever you want to, you know. When I first started adding art to my pages, I used colored pencils and watercolor pencils. Now let me go back and read some of this. So the dog chewed on the flip-flop. Yeah, that could be a good excuse, except I don't care anymore. It used to. I don't care anymore. I usually put down some kind of color or mixed media. I love color. And I like the combination of different kinds of elements too. You painted a bowl of caramel corn and your granddaughter says it looks like potato chips. That's okay. At least it looks like something. But yeah, definitely our own worst critics. Popcorn is hard to draw. Yeah, it is. Potato chips aren't really easy to draw either if you want them to look realistic. You don't draw, I have a hard time drawing. Use stamps. Yeah, you can use stamps and color them in. It is all about practice. Somebody told me once, a long time ago, when you learned how to read and write, when you didn't know how, somebody had to teach you how to read and write. When you're learning how to draw, it's the same way. Now, there are prodigies and there are people who are born gifted who can hear something on a piano and play it immediately. There are people who can draw like that. There are people who can sing, people who can do all different kinds of things. We have those kind of people out there. With the bulk of us, though, it's practice. It's practice, practice, practice. And if I only practice one kind of thing, then I'm only going to get good at that one kind of thing. If I don't practice other things, like trying to put what I see in my head down and not worrying about whether it comes out perfect, just kind of having fun with it. Then you know what? The next time I do a stingray that to me looked like an underwater butterfly, kind of, is the way that it had like these little bits of luminescent animals that were in the water, and it just, I don't know. And yet it looks like a moth. That's what I was saying. It looks like one of those Rorschach ink stain thing, but my alligator turned out pretty well, this turned out pretty well. Like sometimes I concentrate and put details into something more specific, like the needle and the thread and the ruler, it turned out pretty well. I don't have the shading right on the paper. Rorschach ink spots. Yes. But you could, one of the best things to do, honestly, is to get some different coloring books, kids coloring books, adult coloring books, whatever you want. If you're not a person who draws, take those, cut them out, trace over them, and then watercolor it. If you really, or use markers or watercolor pencils or whatever, honestly, get tracing paper or get that the transfer paper. Either one will work. Me and Victor sat down one year, it was last year. I did Wonder Woman and a couple of other ones. And all I did was, I looked at it and drew it. But Victor wanted one on his. So I actually got the tracing paper out and I used it. You can do whatever you want to. I mean, you don't have to draw. You can just add color to your pages. And that's one of the things I'm going to do the video about. I'm going to do a couple of videos. Yeah, art is not just drawing. That's right. There are a lot of different things that you can do to be creative. I got this in Happy Mail, and it was black and white. And I took the little markers and colored it in. That's art. The fact that I didn't write this out myself and draw those little doodles, does that make it not art? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think my DIY projects are just as much art as what I put down on the pages in my journals. The fact that I made a journal myself, a sketchbook myself, and I'm actually holding it in my hand, even if it is kind of wonky, that's art. That's creativity. Does it look like this piece of art? No. Maybe one day when I'm done with the journal, it'll look more like what I see in my head and what I know I could actually do if I keep practicing. If I keep practicing, I can get to a point where I have a binding that does well, where my journal holds together well, where I can put art on the outside of my journal and have it covered well. But that doesn't mean that I did a good job because I actually did it. I procrastinated, and I kept going, oh, well, I want to try it. And I really wanted to make my own sketchbook. That was the big thing, is I wanted to do my own sketchbook. The journals were for practice to see if I wanted to do them, because there is something about putting together something yourself. There is something so satisfying about making something yourself. When you make it yourself, I mean, I'm looking at this and yes, the critical part of me, the right side and the left side of my brain are in constant frustrating arguments when I pull it out, because I know what it's supposed to look like when it's done, and mine doesn't quite make it there. But then I realized when I was doing it where I made mistakes. I realized that even though it's not perfect, I had a fun time making them. I learned a lot. I found what worked better for me. Each journal I made came out better. The stitching, let's see. So you can kind of see, well, you can't really see. I'm going to take the cover because I'm going to redo the cover anyway. So, okay, camera's the other way, Burgess. Here's the stitching for this one. I guess this will be the bottom, actually. Here's the stitching for this one. The covers are done a little bit differently. Here's the stitching for this one. That's upside down. Yeah. Here's the stitching for that one. And I know what I did wrong after I watched Bree's video. I knew immediately when I was watching what I did wrong. I was watching Sea Lemon and I knew immediately what I did wrong. Now, I don't have paper to make some more right now. Believe me, I've actually thought about taking my journals apart, taking the stitching out of them and redoing it. I have actually thought about it. And then I'm like, you know what? At this point, I'd rather put duct tape and hold it together with my typewriter duct tape. And I do have typewriter duct tape. I would rather put this on there, put it together, keep it together, and use the heck out of it until I can't use it anymore, until it's full or it completely falls apart. And then I will get some more paper and I'll make some more. Dollar Tree. It's not like a whole lot like what you buy at the hardware store. You redid one of mine. I thought about taking one of the journals with some of the stuff that I have that I want to send Happy Mail to for Brie. And I was like, you know what? I thought about sending it. But honestly, I used to let a lot of this stuff get to me. I don't do that anymore. And the reason I don't do that anymore, like I was on camera, I just pulled this apart because I want to recover it anyway. I'm not stressing over that kind of stuff anymore. Things change for me. I'm going to change this cover. I'll be darned. I'm going to change this cover. One of the problems, this is the problem right here. This is what Bree talked about in her video. See, this one is all Tomoe River paper. It has that rice paper in it. So I did what she talked about, but it's not holding because that rice paper is super thin. You know what? I have paint on it. This is the one that Amy gave me for my birthday. And I already have paint on it, y'all. I already have paint on it. It's going to get paint on it. It's going to get paint on it. Because this is my studio one. But see, here's the dilemma. Like, how do I could tighten these strings, but how do I tighten the strings without screwing it all up? I can recovering it isn't as big a deal as trying to figure out how to make it a little tighter. And then I'm like, you know what I ought to do is just send all this, both of these, Just send them all to Bree, leave my sketchbook, and go, okay, how do I fix this? You know, I need to take a trip to Colorado. That's what I need to do. Mr. Rockstar's like, baby, I can't afford to send you to Colorado. I'm like, but I need to meet Bree, and I need her to show me how to do this. He's like, I love you, but I can't afford to send you to Colorado right now. I'm like, but there's a meetup. And he's like, I'm sorry. But, you know, but I'm going to start with the one that is the easiest to do. And that's this. And then I thought, okay. Then I'm thinking, okay, because, you know, I'm crazy. I have anxiety. So I'm thinking, when I take it apart, what if I put it together and then my writing is upside down? What if I don't do it right? What if I screw it all up worse than I've already got it? You know, because right now it is at least a journal. You know, it is at least a journal right now, and it's together. You know, it's together. I mean, it's not tight like the way I want it, but it is together. You know, I mean, I can redo the cover. See, this is all this is that rice paper. It's just that rice paper, and it, you know. Yeah, the only problem with the duct tape is it's going to cover my binding. But at this rate, I'm thinking, I don't know. The duct tape, because of the way that it is made, would still keep it flexible. I could put the duct tape over it right here and then take a cover and cover it. You know, like I could do this, put the duct tape over it right here and then cover it. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's like when I work on a piece of writing, to speaking of words of the day, you know, I can either stress myself out over every single word and every single sentence and every single paragraph, and I can let that inner editor, the self-critic. I don't know about E6. I have E6000, but it's not, what is that, pH? What is that word? You PVA glue, you need a certain kind of glue that is, I don't know if E6000 is that kind of glue. Yeah, it needs to be a flexible glue, and I don't think E6000 is a flexible glue. And I don't think, I have Mod Podge, and I have Elmer's glue, and I have cement glue, and I have all kinds of glue, but I don't think I actually have any PVA glue. So duct tape might be my best friend right now. Until I can afford to order some more, you know, paper. But I'm really trying to embrace the imperfections and not stress out over things I don't have any control over. Fix what I can and, you know, keep moving on, you know. Yeah, if duct tape won't fix it, not much is going to fix it. And I mean, the only thing that would be cuter is to put one of these, the typewriter duct tape on one of them. And then if I had some kind of what looked like watercolor or paint or something on the other one, it would be perfect. Elmer's glue is, I have Elmer's glue all. I have that one. But this has got, you can see the threads in it. So it is it would actually stay flexible. So I don't know, y'all. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. You know, but I think it's really interesting, and we evolve and we change. And I kid you not, a year ago, I would not have been able to, I'm not an insert person. I like a journal. I want a notebook. And the one thing about these, because these are Tomoe River paper, is I am used to this chunky thing, and then this is not so chunky. So I realized that I was thinking, you know, but the next time I make one, I'm going to change up. I think I did 5 or 6 pieces of Tomoe River paper and folded. And I think I'm going to do more pieces. That made sense when I watched the video. She used more pieces to make the signatures thicker. See, I could actually take these two journals and combine them into one journal. I could redo it and combine them into one journal. It wouldn't be that hard to do and just have one journal. One cute little chunky monkey journal. I keep thinking the camera's that way and the camera's this way. You know, I could have one cute, I don't know, but I wanted a written journal. And I wanted, you know, so I'm still, you know, like I said, I'm still thinking. I like having this as the inside. I found a video about how this one guy does this one thing, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll try that next time. For now, I think I'm just going to glue this. I think I'm just going to take this one piece of paper and I'm going to glue it back to the piece of Tomoe River paper, and then I'm going to use my I don't know, maybe I'll find some duct tape, some different duct tape for the other. I don't know. It's not. You like the clear leaf cover? Yeah. This is just that paper. This is what the paper looked like. It's actually really, it's almost perfect B6 size. When you, it's not an exact, because some of the sheets are, it's handmade, so some of the sheets are a little bit bigger than others. I did have to trim off just a tiny bit, but I like it because look, you can see the little bits of the flowers and the leaves and the pieces of, and that cool, and it smells good, y'all. It smells good. And so even if I couldn't write on it, and this smooth side, so you can write on. See, you can write on. But this side, this rough side, not so much. What's gaffer tape? I've never heard of gaffer tape. I'll have to look that up. I don't know. You know, I can go to Michael's or Lowe's or Walmart this weekend and see if Michael's has book binding tape. If they have book binding tape, I'd actually rather use it. But good night. But you know, this makes sense to me. I don't know, y'all. So that's the because see, I'm still finishing up this one. I've been practicing doing different things in this. I still have this much left, which is one signature and 3 pieces of paper. That, yeah. So I still have one whole signature left in this. And then, yeah, three or, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. 4 pieces of paper. There's where the signature starts. Okay, yeah. Gaffer's tape is a bit more expensive. Movie makers use it to hold down cords and cables while they are filming, hence the name Gaffer's tape. Okay. Can be removed and repositioned. I'll have to check that out. So while I'm playing around with, because I did just make these and I'm trying to make sure that I have it all together before I really start getting too chunky into the new journals I made. Trying to kind of, I don't know, but yeah, so I want a folio for Christmas or 2. I want an A5 and a B6. And then I'm going to revamp these because this one especially, yeah, I'm going to revamp. See, that's packing tape right there. That's just clear packing tape. So I'm going to do something. I might just glue this to there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know I'm doing it. This one is Tomoe River paper and mixed media paper. The ones I have one by her that's just Tomoe River paper with some vellum in it. Because I put my mixed media paper and my watercolor paper in this. Look at how pretty that one is. This is me practicing with that Sailor Fude pen. And then I drew my palettes. I got one more thing to do. And then I'm going to fill these in with watercolor, my colors. Yeah, this is watercolor paper and mixed media paper mixed. And unfortunately, my mixed media paper is white, and my watercolor paper is an off-white. But I don't care. I don't care. For now, the next one I make, I'll try to make with matching paper. But I did a hardcover on this one. I actually made this one with the one piece of, like, I used the back part, this stuff, and I cut a strip for this part, and then I cut a strip for this part, and I cut a strip for this part, and I put it all together. And I used watercolor paper. No, I used mixed media paper for the inside. And I glued this first piece of the signature to this, and then the first piece of the signature to this. So that was a lot easier to make. I mean, I could actually make this for both of these, for both of my journals, but I don't want it this dang hard. I want a flexible cover. If I have to hide my binding, I will, but I want a flexible cover. I don't want a hard cover. So yeah, this is lots of watercolor paper and mixed media paper. And I love paper, y'all. I love paper. I like all of it. I just want my journals to be able to, you know, and this will hold up to the strings. So right now I just have it in the one string in the back. I don't have a string in the front. I had one right there, but it won't. I did this one so much tighter. This one turned out so much better because it was thicker paper, so it was easier to do. Yeah. So I'm just kind of getting it all together. I've been having a bit of I'm trying to catch up on things. I've been so busy creating stuff, doing stuff, that kind of stuff. And I've had some family stuff going on. So I'm a bit behind with some things. I'm a bit behind with YouTube videos. I'm a bit behind with some of my journaling, but not all of my journaling. And so, yeah, I just see this. I think I'm just going to, yeah. I don't know. Do I really want to take that apart and then redo it? I have enough string to do it. Or where did my needle go? That's my waxed. And it's already pre-waxed. So, I don't know. I don't know. Still thinking. So, anybody got any questions? God, I've been on here. I've been on this one for about an hour. I'm so glad this one did better and it didn't have all that buffering and stuff. So glad. So I'm going to go back to the little scribbles that matter. I love the B6 size, y'all. I love the B6 size. I feel like this was made specifically for me. Do you ever try to cut one of your... I have cut one of my notebooks down. As a matter of fact... This is half of an enigma. This is half of an Enigma. And I have two of the, I talked to Steve, I have two of the Breeze notebooks coming in. And I'm probably going to cut down one of them to B6. I'm going to make sure that I do it right, that I look at the binding and I do it right so I don't mess up the binding in it. If I knew I could take that journal completely apart and put that in with plain Tomoe River paper and mixed media paper, that would be the perfect journal for me. I kid you not. If I could take the dot grid 68 GSM that is in the Breeze or the Enigma, because it is 68 GSM, because what I put in my journals, this is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. I got the 68 GSM. So it's a little bit thicker than the 52. I love B6. I love B6. I like, this has 50 sheets of the Tomoe River paper in it. So it's 100 pages. You've tried to take the journal. I don't know, y'all. I watched some videos on how to do the single page. There's a piece of watercolor vellum in here somewhere. There we go. Watercolor vellum. Vellum with what looks like watercolor swatches on it. When did I get my B6? Which B6? The B6 Scribbles That Matter? Now see, if the Hobonichi came in B6 size, it would be awesome. I like the cousin. But I'm doing main planning in my B6. I mean, in my A5, and I'm doing all the rest of everything else this way. This is my Enigma. This was all kinds of stuff. Figuring stuff out. Trying to use two Michael's BJs to try to. I missed a comment somewhere. Yeah, probably. I haven't tried the Jibun Techo, and I probably won't because it's a slim, and I am not a slim fan. I like A5, and I like having the room. I tried to get back to A5 a couple of different times since my dad died, and I tried, and it turned out really pretty. I did some really gorgeous stuff in it, but I just couldn't keep up with it. It was just too much. So now I'm not pressuring myself anymore, and I like the B6 size because, and here's like, so here we have two different August, and I actually wrote here, and I I had fun, y'all. But you're going with the A5 slim. See, I don't like slim. I don't like slim. I like big books, and the reason I think I like the B6 so well is because it still has enough wideness to it for me to write. I write big. Have y'all seen you see my handwriting? I write big. These little tiny notebooks, like for field notes, I could use field notes as a sketchbook or as just a note down, like, maybe addresses, things like that, but not for journaling, because my handwriting, if you see my handwriting, I actually need bigger than 5mm dot grid. The only time it doesn't look so like that is when I use fine. You missed the space in an A5. And see, I like the look of the original Midori Traveler's Notebook. And I like how people do those pages. Like, I like the way that the standard looks. I like the way that people use that B6 Slim, the cafe note from Nanami paper. Other people, and I like what I've seen from the Jibun Touch-Up. But I know for me, I need width. I need that. I need this space. See, tall and skinny works well for you. You need room to write. Yeah. See, I think that's why, like, my husband's always laughing. He's like, you don't feel boxed in here with 2 desks and a craft table? I'm like, no. And I got the dresser behind me. I've got an opening over there, and I've got a window. And I like having, I like having all of this, I have a no social media desk over there. No social media is allowed. Now, my laptop ends up on there. But when I use my laptop to write, I do that program where the internet nuts isn't on, where, and I am just using Scrivener. I like this having like the Hobonichi, having the big and the little. This is for more detail stuff. I'm finally figuring out how to work my A5 and my B6 together. Finally figuring out. So this is more collections and time tracking for things that I need more room for. And this month is One Book July was sort of, this is still, it's all trial and error. My goal is to, by the end of this year, have this and the A5 and the B6 working together in conjunction. I like that size, because this isn't so much having the B6 isn't as heavy. This stays at home. This doesn't leave. And this goes in my purse, and it goes everywhere. I could take this size, and I like the A6 too. I like A6 too. I like I have room. I like having some of that width. Yeah. A5, A6, and B6 are my favorite sizes. Now, that's not to say there aren't probably some other sizes that might work well. Like, I like square books too. I like the square. I want a bigger sketchbook to do bigger pieces in. And I want a little sketchbook to make little things. But for planning, I've been figuring out what works for me works, and that's kind of the fun of it too. I'm a planner from a journaler's perspective. So when I'm doing my planning, even my bullet journaling, it still has a journaler's feel to it. You know, I'm writing down quotes. Monday, home day, mostly laundry, dishes, got phone working, newsletter, no video, but I did an Instagram post and we cut the yard. You know, I'm writing my to-dos and then I'm writing a quote. I'm pulling the card and then I'm writing some more to-dos. And then I'm writing, I didn't get nearly as much as I hoped. Done. I'm writing, this is Monday. I almost finished setting this up. Feels strange, but good to be in a B6 Scribbles That Matter. But it feels strange because this is the first time, I'm like, oh my God, it's so cute. Look at it. And you know what? Scribbles That Matter comes with this pen loop. And it still has a little pocket. And aren't the little doodles cute? You know? I don't want to do this planning stuff in my pretty handmade journal. I don't know why. I did it a little bit. I never did they're precious. They're precious. I don't want to do planning in the precious journal. I don't want to do planning in the precious journal. My planning is messy. Not that my journaling isn't messy. And when I was setting this up, that was my goal originally. I had this in there is to do it as a bullet journal. And I did a bunch of different things. I ended up writing notes more than anything about videos. This has a ton of notes for all the videos I've done for YouTube. A lot of the videos I've done for YouTube and stuff. So I still have a lot of this. So, yeah. I don't know, y'all. I like having the calendar and then having the bullet journal. I'm a calendar person. I need a calendar. I need to look at a calendar and to forward plan. This is where I do all the forward planning right here. So I don't need a forward thing. I don't need that, in my bullet journal. In either one of them. This is, I'm trying to set it up so that, it's different, so that what I'm doing in this isn't the exact same thing I'm doing in this. So I can keep my collections. The future log, yes, I knew I'd think about it. This says, I like big books and I cannot lie. I don't know, y'all. If I can ever get to a point where I can figure out how to do dot grid paper with the Tomaway, the 68 GSM, without it, and it still be waterproof. I love Taroko Designs. If he came out with the B6, it would be perfect. Because I would only make my own sketchbook and then my own one document. Now that I've gotten used to it, at first I was hesitant. The very first time I got a journal, when I had Bree make the journals and I didn't have lines or dots, I was like, because I started my very first Faux was plain. It was a standard from Nanami paper, the 7 C's. Because my handwriting is so god awful, like it slants, no matter how much. And then I was like, now that I've gotten used to not having the lines when I do my journal stuff, I like not having the lines for my actual illustrate my day journaling. I like not having the lines. Because if I choose to scan this and then make a PDF of it for, say, Patreon or something, I don't have to worry about the dots. I don't have to worry about that. Not for one, I'm not all that. I don't really know how to use Photoshop, so I wouldn't know how to get rid of my dots. You'll bullet journal. You have to do the classic calendar layout. Yeah, I can do the log for certain things. But I have to have a calendar. I have a calendar hanging on my wall. I have a calendar in every single thing that you are pretty much going to see. I have a calendar. There's a calendar in here. There's a calendar in here. So I have to have a calendar. I didn't put a calendar in here because I got the calendar right here. But, So I don't know, y'all. I did the pen test and it did really well with everything but the needle, the vision needle. Because I guess when I first did that, it has that one little, even the Sailor Fude pen, there's ghosting, but it didn't bleed through. Now the only thing about this paper is it's there. It does ripple and wrinkle when you watercolor. You can see it does ripple when you do watercolor, but I don't mind the ripple. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting much better about how much water I use. That reminds me, you need to mark when the dog needs its next flea medicine. There you go. See, I like having, you just try the vertical calendar. Yeah. I'll be seeing if I can find another Snoopy calendar in the B6 size for next year. And I think I'm just gonna get the Hobonichi cousin for the main big everything goes in that one. Like I do planning in it. I'm not doing a whole lot of fancy journaling or watercoloring or much in there anymore. I'm just doing planning in the cousin. And I'll have another one of these. And see, this week I haven't done as much. Like I just wrote down some stuff. I'm doing, I don't know if I want to do art in all of them or not. I have collections though back here. I never did do like, I've noticed if it's not right in front of my face, if I put it an extra place, there's a calendar right there. If I put it in extra place, I'm probably not going to end up doing it. If it's somewhere where I see it all the time, I'll do it. Like I love this stuff. I love how it turned out, you know, and I went back and I did this and I was like, okay, could I do? Yeah, I could actually go back to Ami journaling, but I don't want my plant. I don't know. You know, I kind of don't want my planning. I want the bullet journal art stuff separate from my regular art stuff, if that makes sense. You know, I don't know. I got art everywhere, y'all. I literally have art everywhere. Even in my notebook for my writing for like the Witchy Business novel, there's some sketches. There's some doodling. I put art everywhere, doodle everywhere. And I think the Hobonichi is the one place that I can have like in the cousin because I've added art to it and stuff. But it's the one place where I don't have to. Yeah, these are, I actually started doing, let's see if I have the one. I started making these on Patreon and I need to go back to making them because I start projects and then I don't finish them. These are cards, like just playing cards. Maybe I'll use maybe if I can find the Joker from this, maybe I'll use it. There's a Joker. I'll use it. I don't know. I like to do all different kinds of things. See, I kind of didn't like the spiral binding. Yeah. You can bind those with washi tape if you want to do that way. You can make your own washi tape that way. So has anybody got any questions? Because I've been on here for 1 hour and 20 minutes, which means I might have been on here for close to 2 hours now. And I got to go potty, y'all. And I need to get some journaling done for the day. And I need to respond to some emails. And I'm going to stalk Polaroid until they get crap working. Yeah, I have stuff everywhere. So I'm going to attempt to do something. something. There's actually a really good video somewhere, a tutorial about how to make them with washi tape. Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, has one. Sea Lemon has one. And somebody else has one about how to do that with washi tape, Heather. All right, y'all. I'm going to give it a minute or two more, and then I'm going to hit the road, Jack, so to speak. So I can go potty and fix me some fresh coffee. And Mr. Rockstar's on nights right now, so my sleep schedule's all messed up again. See, now I'm playing with this thing, and I'm like, okay, what can I do? Let me quit fidgeting. Yeah, I'm going to figure it out. And hopefully I'll have, I hate to cover the binding, but I may, until I get better at this, may have to just keep covering my bindings until I get better at it. You're welcome. Thank you. You missed the beginning. Well, there's the replay in the very first one that's so buffered. I did this twice because the first one was buffering so bad. It was horrible. We have had really crappy weather here, and when we have crappy weather, my internet's not as fast as it ought to be. So, but thankfully, once when I went out and came back in and got a new stream going, it worked better. So, but I thank y'all for having a good evening with me. Yeah, it will have been 2 hours because I went live at right at 5 till 8 or something. So I've enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. I'm really glad that I have the other webcam and that I can have the easel right here. Amy, if you're still with me, this has made this so much easier being able to put stuff. This I got from Romney. Romney does this. This makes it a lot easier putting stuff right here where people can see it. And then y'all, just the mess. Yeah, see, this is the thing that I do the ink with the fountain pens. This is the thing that is the lens cleaner and stuff for my camera. This is the lens cleaner for the camera. This is extra bits of little pieces of paper and a post-it note and some cards and a fountain pen I need to clean and re-ink. Another one of those things. Some extra string. A thing to open up a paint can with. A cap off of something so I can draw a circle. My oil for my hair. An extra glue thing. Y'all have a good night. I do love it. They were laughing because, see, I got upset at first when I got the paint on it. I was like, oh no. And then I thought, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. It's going to get, if I don't use it, then there's no point in it. But that's watercolor. So but I love it. I love it. I'm so happy with it. Y'all have a good night. It is okay. Yeah, it's an artist tool. That's what I have to remind myself. That's what I'm saying. With certain things, my OCD is no big deal anymore. I'm not, this is bothering me. But what I put on my pages anymore, I'm not being, I try really hard not to be too self-critical, with my different flip-flops. But, with some things, I find, I was saying, certain journals, with the document my life kind of journal, once I get the covers fixed on these things, they're precious to me. I don't know what it is about something being precious, but then you don't want to use it. But what's the point of having it if you're not going to use it? I want to be able to look at it every day and think about how wonderful it is to have it, look at it every day and go, oh my God, I put this thing together myself. I chose what to put on this. I chose what to do. I can't believe I finally did this myself. We'll see. I'm trying. I'm going to fix the cover. And I think once I can fix the cover thing, I'll feel a lot better. Because right now, I want to just send all of it except the sketchbook and go fix, please. But that defeats the purpose of me doing it myself, you know. So we all have our idiosyncrasies, our quirks, you know. But when I look at my poor, it's like this is the imitation and this is the real thing. And until I fix the cover, I'm still going to feel like this is an imitation and it's not a real thing. I need to fix the cover. And I think that's what my brain is, my anxiety is having issues with, is this cover issue thing. So good night, y'all. Have a good one. And I will see y'all again soon. And I'll try to get better about actually posting videos. Y'all have a good one. Bye, y'all.